Edgar Wright and I have a lot in common. Edgar was born and raised in one of the bumpkin parts of England just like me, he grew up obsessed with movies just like me, and he's a visionary genius just like me. Wright has just 6 movies to his name so far, or 7 if you count his debut feature A Fistful of Fingers, which has never gotten an official release. But that was enough to earn him a reputation as one of the modern masters of genre cinema. Even just the first one, Shaun of the Dead, was enough to earn that reputation. Wright's subversive, self-referential, yet totally sincere take on everything from zombie movies to buddy cop movies to car chase movies has made him one of the most popular filmmakers working today. But they're not all untouchable masterpieces like Hot Fuzz. Some of them are disappointing duds like Last Night in Soho. So here's every Edgar Wright film ranked from worst to best. In my video The Lost Reviews, where I dug up my old deleted review of Last Night in Soho, I made no secret of the fact that I was massively underwhelmed by it. It's a shallow knockoff of Repulsion that's nowhere near as scary and doesn't have as much to say. It wants to be a post-Me Too psychological thriller, a rallying cry against sexual harassment, but ultimately all it says is that as bad as it is today, it was even worse in the 1960s, and its twist ending completely undermines its themes. It's not all bad, the performances are spectacular, especially by Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomasin McKenzie, and the cinematography and production design in the 60s set sequences are really stunning. But that's not enough to save a derivative horror film with muddled messaging and very few genuine frights.
Oh no! The World's End.
I commend Wright for doing something different with the final film of the Cornetto trilogy. I wasn't a huge fan of it when it came out because I was expecting something similar to Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and The World's End is a lot darker than those films. When I first watched it as a teenager, I didn't quite get it, because I wasn't even at the age Gary King desperately wants to go back to, let alone the age he actually is. But I'm finding that as I get older, every time I go back to The World's End, I relate to it more and more. It was a genius conceit to use a body snatcher's storyline to highlight the alienation you feel when you go back to your hometown. But the film's balance of a silly sci-fi parody with really heavy dramatic subjects like addiction and suicide doesn't 100% work. With its blend of car chase movie and jukebox musical, Baby Driver is purely an exercise in style. The love story is totally perfunctory, and the film's main focus is its impressive vehicular stunts, synchronized to the songs on the soundtrack. But as far as style over substance movies go, Baby Driver is a damn good one. Some of the musical action scenes come off as goofy and gimmicky, like the shootout sequence with bursts of gunfire set to Tequila, but for the most part, Baby Driver is a successful crossover experiment between action filmmaking and the art of the needle drop. I think I'd like the film a lot more if someone with genuine charisma and likability was in the lead role instead of Ansel Elgort. That cost the movie some points in my book.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Wright's first adaptation of another writer's work, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, might be his most technically impressive film to date. It combines the fundamental elements of cinema with elements taken from video games, music, and comic books for a wildly entertaining multimedia extravaganza. Scott Pilgrim is a typical coming-of-age rom-com about an awkward wallflower falling in love with a quirky manic pixie dream girl, but its live music, boss battles, and playful visual gags inject that familiar formula with a boatload of style. It didn't get its due at the box office, becoming Wright's first commercial flop, but it's since taken its rightful place as a beloved cult classic.
Shaun?
Oh. Shaun of the Dead.
A few years after directing the no-budget amateur production A Fistful of Fingers, Wright began his filmmaking career proper with Shaun of the Dead. And what a debut! It takes the basic structure of a George A. Romero Of the Dead movie and hilariously transplants it into a British setting, as a band of survivors ride out the zombie apocalypse in their local pub. Shaun introduced the world to Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's endlessly endearing on-screen chemistry, which anchors the movie with ease. And they have an airtight script to work from, courtesy of Pegg and Wright. Every single scene advances the plot, develops the characters, and moves the emotional arcs along. Every page is jam-packed with jokes, and there isn't a single one that doesn't land. Wright's signature directorial style, from his dynamic camera work to his energetic editing, arrived fully formed in Shaun of the Dead.
Hot Fuzz.
I've traditionally ranked Shaun of the Dead higher than Hot Fuzz because it's a slightly tighter movie and it has slightly more emotional resonance. But you just can't deny the power of the fuzz. Hot Fuzz is like a great sequel. It takes all the best things about its predecessor, the affectionate genre satire, the rapid-fire gag rate, Peg and Frost's priceless chemistry, the ingenious plotting laced with foreshadowing and subverted expectations, and amplifies them for an even bigger and better movie. Just like in Shaun, there isn't a joke that doesn't land or a scene that doesn't need to be there. Except this one has even more jokes, even more cameos from the best names in British comedy, and much more complex storytelling.
Bang!
Love me, say that you love me. Fool me, you wanna fool me. I can't care about anything but you.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.